Hello, welcome to Nielsen Ratings, where I'm definitely not eating a large prawn cracker just as we've gone live. Nothing but professional on this website. Well, we were supposed to be on yesterday at 10 o'clock, but I realised on Monday I was not going to make that deadline because it was my partner's birthday yesterday. And, well, I had to go and celebrate it. So we went to Broadstairs for the day, where it was very hot. Has to be said, and lots of people were on a very crowded beach, but we had a good time, and it was very nice. But we will get into today's treats. So what have we got lined up for you today? Quite a few things, actually, because we've just been watching Alien Earth episode 1. The first 2 episodes have now dropped slightly early. In fact, we're also going to be talking about a couple of older films, and we're going to be talking about Weapons, which has created quite the stir among the critics, mostly in a positive sense. Be interested to see what my panel thinks about it. First up from the Northern Bastard Wastes, it's the Bastard of the Northern Wastes, Northern Bastard.
Hello, you beautiful bastards. It's good to be back on here again, and especially when we get to talk about one hell of a movie that's just come out. And
yeah, well, indeed, I know you're talking about the Phantom Tool Booth, which has just come out for you.
Yes.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that. Also, we have the King of the Spiders, Critic Out in the house.
Good evening. How you doing?
Just wait. There's like a little bit of a gap of suspense there, and just like nothing, just silence, like a tumbleweed in the middle of a western. Then, by no means least, Rachel Percy Art. How you doing, Rach?
Hey, everybody. I'm doing good.
Fantastic. You need to rattle on for a bit so I can sip my wine. So
no, I'm not going to cover for you.
So mean.
The rebellion starts here.
Indeed. Apparently so. Well, just to remind people, because I'm going to do this every stream until the show happens, the making of the Magnificent Seven. My next play, Magnificent Seven Magnificent Egos, to give it the actual quotation, is on in London. It's already booking tickets. Friday night is already nearly like half sold out. So if you're going to go on Friday, you better book your tickets soon, because Friday is looking very busy. We have sold tickets for every show now, so I'm very pleased about that. That means that we will not be performing to any empty houses, which is always good to know. If you look at the picture here of the Magnificent Seven, you will notice something slightly different about them. They are not the original 7 actors. They are, in fact, my actors who are playing these 7 iconic roles, along with all the other parts in the show between them. So it's going to be a fantastic hoot of an evening. Do come and see the show if you're based in the UK. If you're not, fire up the jet and join the special Rachel Percy, foundation that's gathering people to come for an American trip extravaganza. So do check that out. It's gonna be a good time. All right, we're gonna move on. Let's just see what we got in the chat. Proctor Files here. How's it going, buddy? We have Keith. Good to see you. I also see Peepers. Wormy Spoons is here. Leroy's in the house, and so forth. Okay, good to have you guys watching the show. Well, tonight I thought we'd talk about a movie first. And the film I want to discuss up front is that of Weapons, which came out just a week ago. It's already available in both cinemas of the UK and the States. I saw it today, and I'm glad I did. This was not a movie I regretted going to see. Definitely kept me interested, definitely kept me entertained. So let's get into it. This is Zach. Is it Zach Crager that directed it?
Zach Crager, yeah.
Craig. So he directed The Barbarian, which
Mhm.
was a film that I caught on Netflix, I think sort of coming out of lockdown, if I remember right. It kind of came out of nowhere, didn't know anything about it. And what was great about that film was it wasn't afraid to suddenly let like a new character take over halfway through the movie, and it threw you a curveball. You thought it was one film about a certain thing, and then it became a completely different movie about something else. This isn't quite the same as that, but I did like it. I thought it was good. I thought the ending was okay. It was we kind of went into the sort of weird child catcher Willy Wonka territory, and I do have some questions. I have some questions about this show, which I'm expecting to get answers from tonight from my very seasoned, experienced panel. I think Luke, Alan, and Rachel, you've all seen it. Is that correct?
Yes,
Correct.
we have.
I saw it yesterday.
Fab. Rachel, you seen it?
No, I
Yes,
didn't get
I
to watch it yet.
Oh, don't want to ruin anything.
You've seen it. Oh, that's great, Rachel. I'm
Oh,
glad you watched
go
it.
ahead,
Fantastic.
ruin it. Ruin it. I don't
Very,
care.
very light on spoilers.
Are you not a horror lady? You're not into your horror?
I am, but I just didn't have a chance to get to it. It's just
Oh, okay. All right.
one of those things.
All right. So we're just going to let Rachel jump into her time travel device now and go and see the film. Rachel, welcome back to the panel. I'm glad you've seen the film now. I look forward to hearing
Yes.
your offers now.
I can completely explain your problems with it.
Brilliant. And I'm definitely not eating another prawn cracker. Okay, let's get into it. So, basic plot is a whole load of kids one night simultaneously go missing from a town. I'm pretty sure if they'd checked the angle that every kid was running at, they would have worked out roughly where they converged. But
Especially seeing as apparently everybody has doorbell cameras.
yeah, well, a lot of people do now, so it has to be said. Basically, every kid disappears in the middle of the night. They're kind of running off like airplanes. It's kind of a bit weird. From this one woman's class, except for one kid, people think either the kid or the woman is responsible. She kind of becomes a bit of an outcast. See what I did there? And then the whole film is told from about 5 different perspectives of varying storylines, which overlap to different degrees, which ultimately brings the film to its conclusion. I did love what they did with this guy's face, I have to say.
Oh, Benedict Wong, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying but hilarious at the same time. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you know, and then he cased his boyfriend's head in. Spoiler alert. But it wasn't really alert. That was more a spoiler. There you are.
I was going to say,
spoiler
alert first, and then give the spoiler.
Right.
Alert, there's a spoiler.
Yeah, let's spoil the shit out of it. Come on.
But yeah, it was. Now I have a question. I have a question for my panelists. Okay, this is all okay. So you know, if you don't want to know the story, don't log out and stop watching the stream. Just put it on mute, and you can, you know, put on Pornhub or something. But my question is this: so the person behind this is a witch. It feels a bit like she's kind of like stealing the kids to somehow draw on their vitality to make herself young.
Mm-hmm.
At first, she tries to sort of take the kids' parents, but that doesn't work. So she needs younger energy to keep herself young. The witch is brilliantly realised and portrayed by Amy Madigan, who's one of my favourite character actresses of all time. She's a fantastic actress.
Yeah, she makes this movie. She does. She really makes this movie.
Is it her that's married to Ed Harris?
Yep.
Yeah, I saw them together in a play on the London stage. Back 2017 it was. My God, it was like one of the most depressing plays ever. And in the end, and we saw it on like New Year's Eve or something, like Christmas Eve. And when they came out to take their bows, Ed Harris had put on a Santa hat and he shouted out "Merry Christmas" into the audience, almost like ironically, because the play was so heavy, just to make us laugh during the bow. But it was a very good show. So there's Amy Madigan, almost unrecognizable in her creepy clown makeup. So that was my question. Was like, is that what she's doing?
Yeah. The theme of the film is parasites.
Yeah, I get that.
And yeah, she's being a parasite, leeching off those children.
Right.
Yeah,
so while she's got the children in the house, that's keeping her energy, and she can stay there, and she's gradually getting younger. Is that what happened?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, there is speculation that she's. Yeah, sorry, man.
No, carry on.
Yeah, there is speculation that she might be older than she may be claiming to be. Like, she could be centuries older. Who knows? And she seems to be very good at, sort of like encouraging people, manipulating people into actually taking care of her as well, just so she can use them to, for her own personal gain.
Like a parasite, like a tapeworm.
Yeah, I mean, there was a good scene where Benedict Wong is just sat with his boyfriend watching a documentary on parasites, and then seconds later, she's knocking at their door.
Yeah, cordyceps. That is a scary parasite.
Yeah, no,
it's zombified.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, The Last of Us, definitely Last of Us vibes.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So I got that she was a parasite. I got that she was somehow drawing on the kids for energy. I did feel that there was a lot left to supposition there. There was a lot for us to kind of suppose, okay, it's probably this. And it's not that I want things explained always. It's kind of nice to be able to have this conversation, for example. Good to see you, Nick. Thanks for tuning in.
A fair bit about it is implicit rather than explicit, isn't it? It's leaving you to draw your own conclusions.
That's what movies should do. That's what makes High Plains Drifter such a fascinating watch at the end. It's not explaining everything.
I did feel... I felt like we could have had a bit more there to solidify some of the varying things that then happened in the third act.
Just a few more sort of pieces in the jigsaw, as it were.
I think so. A few more pieces would have done me good. Demon Knight says succubus. So,
succubuses have something inherently sexual about them. You don't want anything sexual about Aunt Gladys.
Yeah, I don't want to get.
Yeah, really. That's going a little more.
Northern Bastard, at what point did you get the hots for the aunt in this film? Was it before or after the woodland scene?
He's gone all quiet.
I know. Sorry, I'm just thinking about. Honestly, the only one that got me going was probably the copper's wife. She was, Moving on, anyway.
I actually thought you'd gone quiet because you got so aroused just by the proposition of this. You're banging one off.
Oh yeah, the terrible crop fringe. I mean, how can you not resist that?
I know. Indeed. Yeah,
it's a tough wank, but he pulls it off.
I mean, one of the things that this did solidify for me, when I saw this actress in her breakout show, it was the one set in the Ozarks, wasn't it?
Julia Garner.
Yeah,
she's got some fucking acting chops, this girl.
Because you didn't get to show them off in Fantastic Four, that's for sure. She was very good.
Oh, no, we're not bringing that movie up. God, I'm still struggling.
But in this, she's good.
And in this, she's also a parasite because she's feeding off the character Paul.
The copper.
Yep. Played by Aaron Edgren, that guy. I can never say his name wrong.
Aaron Moustache.
Yeah, he was the guy who's Han Solo.
Alden Ehrenreich.
Han Solo, wasn't he?
That's the guy, yeah.
I totally didn't recognise him in this.
It took me a while, and it wasn't up until the bit where he's speaking to the junkie that he battered.
Right.
There, and I was just like, oh, right, now I realise who it is. It's just something about his mannerism.
Isn't this cute? Look, the kids have all signed the billboard.
I wonder if they've seen it.
I know. Then again, they're in the scene where they're tearing him.
Oh, that was so good. I tell you what, the entire audience was pissing themselves laughing during that scene.
Yeah, it's just when they're all starting piling through the bloody fences. It just cracks me up.
Nobody was scared by this film, but everybody was laughing at the end.
Yeah.
It's like Jack Hager's made a comedy by mistake.
it's more creepy than scary, really. I mean, there is some good creepy imagery as well, which will probably stay in your head.
Well, it's not really get killed, I have to say.
It's not really a horror per se. Yeah, James, there's spoilers you want to dump out the next 10 minutes.
Well, we've covered them, mate. We're not going to spoil much more.
But yeah, I mean, it's a weird film. I really like the way it was put together. It's like tracing paper, and each piece has got a piece of the final picture. And as each piece gets laid on top, you get a bit more of a picture and a bit more of the picture and a bit more of the picture. Agreed. But I did think the ending was a little bit, I don't know. I wanted a bit more. And also, I was spending a lot of the film thinking up more imaginative answers than what they finally came up with, I think.
Yeah, I mean, horrors. That's the thing with horrors. They always seem to be at their best in the first and second act. I've always found that with somehow...
I felt the premise of the kids missing and the way they went missing, i.e. the first 30 minutes of the movie, and then she was kind of being blamed for it and all that sort of stuff.
Yes, yeah.
That for me was a really great setup and premise. I didn't feel the answer that we got was as good as the premise, unfortunately. As you say, you've been making up your own endings for the film. We maybe could have came up with something better.
I did think it's quite funny that you're given the answer to the film, again, no spoilers, but in the first sequence with Justin, the actual answer was given to you there, and you just don't realise at the time. So that was kind of quite clever as a piece of foreshadowing.
Well, you mean in the narration sequence at the very beginning?
No, I mean the bit where it's painted on the car.
Oh right,
yeah.
So
yeah,
the assault rifle dream was very odd. I
do have to agree with you about the the things that get laid on top of you as well, and just to get laid and laid, bringing more perspective. Because every time I'm watching the film, I'm like, wait a minute, did I miss something here? Was there another scene that I missed? That because this doesn't make sense. This did make sense. It really did feel like everything that was happening here was actually intentional, and it did lead up to very organically with the next character perspective.
I mean,
how Josh Brolin's son was the main bully.
Yes, yeah, Matthew was the main bully. Yeah, I mean, I liked on top of that the fact that, and again, if we are doing kind of like light spoilers, it doesn't have a happy ending. I like that as well. I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay, yeah, this is a good question. What was the meaning of the assault rifle dream? And I was like watching that, and then a number comes up, I think, which was 213.
217, I think it was.
Yeah,
which was the time that they all got activated.
Oh, was it? I thought it was 3 a.m.
No, it was 217. No, they got activated.
Yeah, there's a little hint there as well, because only 2 adults tried to investigate this, and it's 17 missing kids, if I'm correct.
Yeah, because the 18th was Alex, who was obviously the one left. And his is the final sequence.
But I do like how it delves into little themes as well, like just how even good people can just become very monstrous when something tragic happens. Like they're irrational, and even Alex shows to be a little bit selfish as a good kid, but at the same time, a little bit of his bitterness kind of encourages him to actually get involved with Amy Madigan's character. There is a lot of context to this as well. I mean, we see good characters become a bit selfish as well. Like,
I mean, Justine is not a nice character. She's not a nice character. She's alcoholic. She's neurotic. She's a home wrecker. But as I say, she is a parasite. Every one of them is getting something from somewhere else. And
James is a junkie and a burglar who's proper self-destructive. Paul is a pretty bad cop. He is a bad cop. He really is.
A pretty bad husband as well.
I know. It's like, and I think Josh Brolin has kind of hinted he may not have been the best father that he wishes he was. Because he kind of, when you see that dream sequence, and he really does give a great performance here as well when he breaks down.
Yeah, Brolin's great in this.
He can't finish his sentence. It's like, I wanted to say, I tried to say, and he just can't finish his sentence. And
the funny thing is, it was meant to be Pedro Pascal.
And thank God.
No.
Thank God. No. I think it would have been good.
we
I think when
traded
he
up,
goes
man. We trade. No, Brolin. I don't think Pedro
Yeah,
Pascal could have
Brolin's
done
a
what
much more
Brolin did.
likable actor. He doesn't seem to be up his own ass like most actors are.
Well, Brolin
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
play the everyman much
Yeah.
easily, much more easily.
Mm. Yeah, I thought the performances were all good. I thought the story, for the most part, was good. I was really, one thing I will say about this film is I was really invested, not for 1 second, even though we were seeing the same thing from different angles and different perspectives.
Yeah,
Not for
you
1
wanted to
second was
know.
I bored. It's a 2-hour film, and it had me all the way through it. But the closer we got towards the resolution and the third act, the more kind of disappointed I got. And yes, Eraserhead, his poetry is fucking creepy.
I agree with
Yeah, I mean,
as well.
it was it was yeah, well, it was good.
It was a good. It was a good film. I mean, yeah, I very much enjoyed it, and I will watch it again to see if there's any anything in the background, any sort of symbolism or anything like that I might have missed. So
yeah, there'll be loads. There'll be loads. It really does come across like that. This kind of film where you just don't notice anything until like the 10th watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's definitely a lot of Easter eggs in there. Lots and lots of little things. Want to just talk about James Brolin for a minute. So there's a fantastic interview with him on YouTube. Boy, would I like to have done it face to face, both in the same space, 45 minutes. And
it's $300 and you'll get that interview with him.
Well, I know,
it won't be a scam.
Listen, shut up. I got Gail Ann Hurd. So anyway,
that was an upgrade. That was a big upgrade.
No, it was a big upgrade. I've got loads of other great guests, but A-list actors are tough, man, to get. You've got to have some readies or have those connections or have that level. But anyway, it's a very good interview. I recommend highly you watch it. I have no problem recommending it. And it's really interesting hearing Brolin talk about his work. And one of the things I learned was that there was a director's cut of Jonah Hex. And he said, the first cut that the director did of Jonah Hex, he said was a pretty good movie. And then the studio got involved and they meddled and they cut it. And
oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that film was a mess. But
yeah,
I could see how there might have been a good film there.
Yeah. So,
it doesn't surprise me. They're really good at that.
They
don't understand what to do with a film like that. And they destroy it.
I mean, I've never seen it. I didn't watch it because I didn't want to disrupt the, visuals that I had in it for my head from the graphic novel. But I would watch the director's cut if it's ever released. So I'd love to see that cut of that film.
That was the stage where all the studios were trying to scrabble for whatever was left of the comic book after Blade and success and everything like that.
This could be the scene from the town meeting in Hollywood where he demands the Jonah Hex director's cut be released. I haven't done as many bad films as you think. And actually, I would love to see that. I have to say, I think of my favorite actors working today, I would definitely put Josh Brolin in the top 5. When you think about the fact that he comes from a acting family, but he did a couple of big movies when he was young, and then he did Thrashing, which is a skateboard film, which I actually have a VHS copy of that. And then when that came out, he kind of looked at it and thought, "Fuck, I'm really not very good." And he basically up sticks from LA. He quit his agent, everything. And he went and worked under the tutelage of Anthony Zerbe at the Actors. I think it was at the Actors Studio. Anthony Zerbe was an actor who played a villain in the second Timothy Dalton James Bond film. I didn't realize he was also an acting coach, although that doesn't surprise me because, of course, I am.
Was that A View to a Kill?
Yeah. Wait,
no, View to a Kill was Roger Moore.
No, sorry.
It was License
to Kill.
Was he the guy that gets thrown into the pressure?
Yeah,
tank?
that's him.
Yeah.
That's Anthony Zerbe.
That's not my money.
Yeah, I've always liked him as an actor. He sort of had presence. He's a really good character actor, and those kind of actors who've done loads of roles and big, range and depth of experience, often are the best teachers. So, if you think he had him as a teacher, for me, there you are. There's your answer. Why has Brolin sort of become such a great actor over time? And he went back, he relearned his craft, he admitted to himself maybe he wasn't the best he could be. If he was going to do this thing, he was going to do it properly. That's what he says in the interview, effectively, words to that effect. And it's really interesting hearing him say that. And I look back at his career, and I can think of 10 roles off the top of my head, not just, for No Country for Old Men, but other stuff that he's done. I think he was really good in that role. So yeah, I'd rate him in my top 5 actors working today for sure. Anytime I see him in something, I know he's going to give 100% and he's going to do something interesting. It was one of those actors.
I'll tell you, I loved him in Men in Black 3. I thought he did the best impression of Tommy Lee Jones I've ever seen. He literally made that film worth watching, which is
he's really good at doing impersonations. He did a fantastic impersonation of Nick Nolte. In the interview, it's good, but yeah, there is a 45-minute interview with him. I recommend it. I'm going to give Weapons a solid 8.5 out of 10. I like the fact that it's an ensemble piece as well. All the more credit for Josh Brolin for not having an ego and saying, "Yeah, I'm going to do this role." It's not necessarily the perception won't be it's the lead role, but it's a great part, I like the fact that he did that as well. Kudos to him. Northern, what's your rating out of 10?
I'll give it 9 assault rifles out of 10 because I would have liked it to have been a bit more scarier. But apart from that, I can't fault this movie. It's got a good mystery. It's got a very good villain as well, who's probably going to be a very memorable. Maybe we're going to get people dressing up as her this Halloween. Hopefully women and less men.
Oh God, no! Can we just bring Harley Quinn back instead, please?
Alan, what do you give it out of 10?
Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's a good film. I really enjoyed it, but I do think that it's less than the sum of its parts, and I was just thinking that there was some lost potential there. I enjoyed it, but I think it could have been even better. But yeah, it was nice to see something intelligent in the movie after July's films, put it that way.
Gary, Bando Sandwich Worthington is giving it 8.75. Nix is giving it 217 out of 10. Dan Candy, 8.5 out of 10. Nix really liked the movie.
Nix has just commented on my video about it as well. If you think it's made, I won't fault you. I mean, I get it. I kind of get it, but it's just good to watch a movie that actually had something that wasn't another bloody reboot.
I preferred it to Barbarian. I definitely preferred it to Barbarian. I can tell you.
I mean, I like Barbarian. What I like about this guy is he tries to make his films original, and and there's a little bit of the fog in here. There's a little bit of this. There's a little bit of that, but it's nothing like where you feel, oh, this is just a remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers or something. It's not anything like that. So I like the fact that he's original. Rachel, with your time machine rating, what did you give it? Oh yeah, I traveled in time. Like 11 out of 10. Oh, fantastic, great. 2 extra points for time travel. So fantastic. All right, good. Start this here. Start the show over. Okay, so guys, we're going to talk about weapons. Yeah, we no spoilers, James. We covered all of them now already. All right, we're going to move on. So, Alien Earth has arrived slightly earlier than advertised, it would appear. It's supposed to be the 14th of August, which is...
It did say the 13th when I saw the trailer yesterday in the movie.
Oh,
so they moved it up a day, yeah.
Yeah, well, it has moved up a day. It's now available. So let me just... Oh, hang on. Hold on. I just want to close that. You don't need to see traditional flamenco dresses or links for the above. They will be for the Magnificent Seven play. No booking in London. Yeah, so... Ooh la la, indeed.
Allegedly there for the play.
Allegedly. I can assure you they are for the play. Our leading lady is a phenomenal talent. I've never had someone come into an audition and blow us away the way she did, I'll tell you. we were doing ratings there, she would have got an 11 out of 10. So Alien Earth, okay. Some of us have seen most of the first episode. We're not going to do spoilers. So for those people who haven't seen it, we won't get into spoilers. I will give you some basic plot stuff. As you can see, there's not a lot of pictures on here. The setup is, this is around the same kind of time as Alien, slightly earlier. For all we know, the Nostromo may already be out there somewhere. Similar kind of technology, similar sort of look in terms of what's available, computers wise, and so on. And we're told right from the get-go there are 3 forms of super intelligence. There are the synthetics, which are basically the android intelligence. There are there's the what was the next one? Somebody remind me.
Cyborgs.
Humans that have been augmented by cybernetics to increase their abilities, but they are still essentially human. And then the third one, which is hybrid, and I'm pretty sure in the hybrid it also mentioned that it might be combined with organic alien matter, something, words to that effect. And there are 5 corporations fighting for power. One of them controls the moon, another one controls Mars and Saturn, of which there are colonies. We learn this in the first sort of 10 minutes. The new kid on the block literally is the latest corporation. Were they called the Syndicate or something like that? What were they called? Oh, I forget. Anyway, it's got a flash name. And that's run by this kind of super kid who's like only 19 years of age. He's the first trillionaire in Earth's history. Okay, so far so believable. And we then join the crew of a ship who are coming back from a mission that have got various species. We learn one of those species is a facehugger, and shit happens, and we're not quite sure about all the shit that happens. It's a little bit confused, but I like what I've seen of it so far. Yeah, there's some dialogue that's very stilted. It's very on the nose. It's very, hey, let me tell you about this, blah, 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 blah. So there's a fair bit of that, which I could have done a much better job of writing. I don't know why they feel the need to. You can still get that information out but I like what there is. There's a lot of characters, many of which die fairly quickly. And I think we probably needed a bit more time with some characters. We get plenty of time with others, maybe not enough with some of the remaining. But so far, not bad. It's difficult to give it a rating on the first 45 minutes. So I'll hold my peace for the moment. But so far, I am enjoying it. And the aesthetic of it, the production design is great. I don't need the exposition. The Tyrell Corporation, is that? I don't think that's the kids one. I think that's a different corporation.
Tyrell Corporation,
Prodigy, thank you. Prodigy, named after a great rave group, obviously.
Great band. Yeah,
they're really good at starting fires. Boom, boom. So, yeah, there was a lot of exposition dialogue.
Yes.
No, that exposition dialogue, it didn't make sense in the context of, hey, we're going to tell people that don't understand what this universe is. We're going to tell you about it in a very on-the-nose fashion because we're going to assume you're all idiots and you don't know anything. That is what that is. And some cunt I said it. I wasn't going to say it, but I did. Some cunt in a studio boardroom sat down to give writing notes and said, we need to explain this. We need to explain that. We can't assume people know this. We can't assume people know that. The best way to have set up that universe, I'll tell you right now, is when everybody came out of hypersleep, you had your 2 different groups, just like you did in Alien. You had your working class people who were basically your engineers and your people that made sure the engine of the ship ran right. And then you had your scientists and your officers who kind of had slightly nicer uniforms and they all seemed a bit more intellectual and so on. All you needed to do when somebody brought up the different corporations, somebody else could have said, I've heard if you go and work for Prodigy, you get 5 times the pay that we're getting here.
Yep.
And then someone else would go, well, why would you want to go and work for a 19-year-old kid? For all you know, he's going to turn into the next Adolf Hitler. Somebody else says, well, I hear he's got that incredible you know, scientific lab on that place Neverland. If you can get a job at Neverland, I hear you can buy shares in the company. You could have had this whole back and forth, a very believable back and forth from these blue and white collar guys about where do we go to work to earn the most money, because that's what these people are all about. That would have been
was unbelievably clunky.
It was
so clunky.
I mean, if you think back to Alien, you learn a lot about how Weyland-Yutani works, or the company works, just by the way they're arguing about shares and who's going to get what cut, and oh, if we take this long, it's going to get, you know.
Yeah.
You learn so much about how things work.
There's a hat.
And it's done naturally. And they just didn't manage it here.
Yeah. And the attitudes, and you get to see the character conflicts in Alien. It's all done so well. But this scene, unless there are flashbacks later in the series, and I can only think there are, it was a complete waste of budget in 10 minutes. As in a complete waste. It's just, it didn't do anything. And there was a couple of scenes like that, and it just seemed like wasted time. And there's something that a lot of modern writers seem to be very, very guilty of, is not making the most out of the screen time that they have available, and end up writing redundant scenes and redundant dialogue, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay, but there's some other bits that were all right.
I mean, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. It's okay. Yeah, I have problems that it's slowly but surely retconning what's come before.
Well, I think that remains to be seen.
But we'll have to wait and see. Yeah,
we shall see how they.
Well, maybe if we get it,
because
once we've seen the second.
Sorry, go ahead, Rachel. Sorry.
Once we've seen the second episode, or maybe into the third episode, we'll know how much they are going to retcon. Because it's a 10-episode series. By the third episode, we will know if they're just going to throw everything out the window, or just cherry pick what they love.
This is set 2 years before the events of Alien.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? So in Alien, we know this. We know that actually the ship, or it's speculated that the ship was actually given orders to go, and they were given orders to wake up because that signal was detected. And then there were orders from the company to set down on that planet and potentially go and retrieve an organism. We don't know exactly all of Ash's orders, but we know some of those coincide with the nature of that. So at some point prior to the events of Alien, somebody has to have got a signal from somewhere and gone, oh, there's a strange signal. Who have we got out that far? That ship's there. We can send them to investigate. Now, there could be a whole backstory to why that happened, which is where I think this is going to tie in to, hey, remember that ship that crashed? Didn't that ship go round that way to pick up specimens? Oh, yeah. And let's say that as part of this narrative, all the specimens are destroyed. Who have we got out there? Well, we've got nothing that can reach it for 5 years unless we send this cargo tug to go and investigate and see what they come back with. Yeah, let's do that. They're part of Weyland-Yutani anyway, aren't they? Let's do that. So if that's where I suspect this is going. There'll be a lot of stuff in between all of that, but that's where I suspect this is going. And if that's okay, if that's what happens at the end of this show, I'm completely okay with that, because for me that fits. I mean,
the aliens being on Earth in 2120, just I don't know how they're going to have to try and make that so that they're then a secret to everybody again. Is we'll have to see.
Well, I mean, if there's a mass breakout of aliens on Earth, that's once we go there, we get into some very muddy waters, because then it's like, okay, how come no one's that then retcons the line from the woman, something that's never been seen in X number of worlds. You know, now of course, if it's all been covered up, she wouldn't know about it. That's fine. So it really needs to be, even though it started big with the ship crashing and all that shit, everything that happens inside that ship, I think you're going to find in the story is all going to end up being contained, and the reason given for the ship crashing is going to be something else. And this plot is going to be as much action adventure as it is going to be about a massive government or corporation cover-up. That's what I think we're going to get as a show. Dun, dun,
Time will
dun.
tell,
Hopefully.
but it does look pretty. It does look pretty.
It does. It does. Northern, how much of this have you seen?
I have not had a chance to watch it, and I'm really not keen on seeing it. I'm sick of these retcons, these prequels. I just take away the mystery of what made the first Alien movie so intriguing. It's like, I don't want to know. Romulus.
I think if we'd had some good Alien films after Aliens, we probably would be more forgiving, and we'd be more up for this. If we had, let's say out of the however 4 or 5 other Alien plus, the crossovers movies that have dropped since Aliens, if 3 of the 5 of those had been great, we'd be up for this. But because everything's kind of been different degrees of shit, we're a bit like our borders are already up. But I'm trying not to be like that. I'm trying to give this a fair shake. Okay, this was getting commissioned. Are the team just doing a paycheck and being yes men, or have they all sat down and said, okay, how can we make this as good as fucking possible? I'm going to go into the boardroom and fight that cunt who gave me those stupid notes the other day and see if we can make this show good. That's what I'm hoping we have here. We shall see. Excuse me.
I think it's going to take some very talented writers to make this not bollocks everything up. And from what I've seen so far, we do not have those talented writers. But hey, it's early days. It might get really good.
Who are the writers on it, Alan? Have you checked?
I have not. But
you're almost like a YouTuber who's just spouting facts without checking stuff. And
I can only base it on what I've seen.
It's kind of obvious. The writing's on the wall. It's bloody Disney.
The
what I've seen
writing's
so far has not impressed me.
The writing is on IMDb. Let's have a look. So the
creator is
on
the wall in crayon.
So okay, so look, you've got a lot of writers here. You've got Ronald Suchet, okay, that and Dan O'Bannon. They're both dead, I think, but they're the original.
I was going to say, I thought Dan O'Bannon was dead.
Yeah,
they're the original. They're the original creators, so they're credited. But we have 4 people here that I'm not familiar with where this franchise is concerned: Lisa Long, Maria Melnick, Migizi Panusu, Bobek Esfarjani. So, and then Noah Hawley is your man. He's your
and they've all done 1 episode each.
Well, let's have a look. So Noah Hawley is responsible for Star Trek 4, good film. Fargo, 51 episodes. And you see, the Fargo TV series is a fucking good show.
Yeah,
so for me, this is a man of caliber. I'm just saying. I think this is a man of caliber. He's got good credits.
But even good writers have really fallen behind all these days. Look at Russell T Davies. Kind of resurrected Doctor Who and now has kind of sunk it again.
Yes, but this isn't Russell T Davies, and I'm going to judge him on his merits, not Russell T Davies's history. So
only 8 episodes as well, not 10.
Have just gone crap. It happens.
So yes, it's only 8 episodes.
How much of it's going to be him, though?
Let's have a look. How much of it's
going to be him?
I hope not. I hope
let's see what the guest writers have done. So Bobak has done 9 episodes of WandaVision.
Oh my god, yeah.
20 episodes.
Adrian Edmondson is in it, yes. Adrian Edmondson.
Okay, so some good and some not so good credits from Bobak. Let's have a look at what else we have. Lisa Long, what has she done? Terminal List, that's a good show.
Terminal List is meant to be good, yeah.
Okay, so this is a new writing credit for her. She's only worked on 4 other shows.
Fantastic.
That's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes that can be a good thing. She's not too poisoned in the system yet. Now, this mini-series, I knew I'd seen this. This is a really, really good mini-series. Superbly written, extremely well acted, about a mother. It's a true story who did that Munchausen by proxy. She convinced her own kid that this kid was dying of cancer, and actually this kid was not ill at all. But the kid didn't know. It was all the mother that convinced her that was the case, and it was a big story. She got loads of money, and then of course it all turned out that it had been faked. Patricia Arquette is absolutely superb in this. So she's one of the writers on this. For me, that's a good sign, because this was a cracking show. In fact, I could chew the fat on this. Definitely worth your time, guys. You like your true story sort of crime dramas. I highly recommend The Act. Very, very good show. So okay, she might have worked on some stuff I don't know, and maybe some
Robert
things I'm not
DeLaurentis
that
as
keen
well, I
on.
mean.
But that's
The
a
fact
good
that
show.
it's one person per has done one episode has me kind of worried about tone and continuity.
Yeah, like there
Yeah,
might be a lack of
well, indeed.
communication.
It could be okay. It could be okay. I mean,
that's Noah Hawley's job, isn't it, to oversee that? And
as
this is the
showrunner,
writer
yeah.
of the Escape Room films. So they did 2 and they did 8 episodes of American Gods. American Gods was a mixed bag. It was okay.
I preferred the book massively.
A couple of the studio interfering as well. I mean, they probably did have good ideas to maybe pace the episodes, but Disney was like, no, we need to just dump a lot of exposition because people are thick and they can't come to conclusions themselves.
I've got to ask you a question, Alan. When you were reading that book, did you become unwillingly aroused by that certain scene during the man-eating munching sequence?
No.
Oh,
that's only because I'd seen something very similar in Wicked City, which is an anime from 1980 something. So,
Good God, not sure
you're not the only one that's seen that.
Okay, right. Okay, I did not know there was a. Oh, that's Reservation Dogs, not Reservoir Dogs. I was going to say I didn't know that. So this guy's only got a few credits. He was a consulting producer on Time Bandits. For me, that is a big red flag.
Oh yes.
He's also a co-executive producer. So
I mean, tell me honest, this might be amazing. It could be really good. It could. I mean, like it wouldn't. It might be better than Romulus, for example. I might end up really enjoying it. But what I've seen so far, the alarm bells are ringing in a very big way.
Well, I'm going to talk about a couple of the actors. Babu Saisi, who's in the show. Got to tell you, this guy is an absolute first-class actor. He's also a really nice guy. I reached out to him after I saw him in 71. And I said to him there and then, I said, you only had a small role, but you were absolutely cracking. Loved every scene you were in. We have to work together.
Is that the cyborg? That's the cyborg dude? Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote back to me straight away after I wrote to him, and thanked me for the letter and said, yeah, stay in touch if you ever got anything for me. Let me know.
Get him for an interview,
mate. I don't know him well enough for that. I can ask. I have thought about asking, but it'll probably be a no. But I probably will ask because you can only say no.
Yeah.
He's a lovely guy. He's a really lovely guy. Adrian Evanson it's interesting to see him in a straight role. He's in episode 1, but he hasn't said much yet.
He's been doing straight roles for quite a while. He was actually in Casualty for a good long time as well. Or was it Holby City? It was a hospital drama. I remember that, and he was playing it straight.
Alex Lawther plays the brother. I do remember him in Black Mirror. He was also in 5 episodes of Andor. These are all people that are climbing the studio ladder.
Yeah.
And I mean, good on them. Fair play to them.
British dude as well. Both British.
Yeah, I think there's a couple more. Jonathan is also a British actor, I believe. British actor, Nigerian heritage. I've met him. Pretty sure he came in and did an audition for me for Paratrooper for the lead, and he was bloody great. And I remember when we saw him, I remember saying to my casting director, "That guy is fantastic." And I'm pretty sure it was him. I mean, I'm hard pushed because I saw about 20, 30 people, but this name sticks in my head. And I remember we saw one guy in particular that had very piercing eyes, and I'm sure it was this dude because I think he was in Noughts and Crosses, if I remember rightly. Anyway, so he was good. I think we'll probably see a bit more of him in the show. Then you've got the likes of some bigger people like Timothy Elephant. So the elephant's in there.
It's nice to see him again.
Yeah, can't go wrong.
Yeah, he's always worth
Can't go wrong with him.
Oh no, Hawley's given himself a cameo.
Yeah,
Michael Smiley. Jesus Christ, Tires from Spaced. He's on it.
Oh shit, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Who's that? Which one?
Oh, that's right. He was in.
Michael Smiley.
He was the one in the first episode who was explaining about the corporations. I knew I recognised his
Michael
voice.
Smiley? Oh, the old boy, the engineer. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was basically playing the
Parker. No, not Parker.
He was basically playing the Parker role from Alien. Yeah. And I do like him as an actor. I like Michael Smiley as an actor. Good actor.
The worrying thing there, Lance, is the fact that because it says only 1 episode, I don't think we're going to get those flashbacks.
Well, now you say that, but IMDb recently have changed their formatting. If you look, everybody here at the moment,
shit,
apart
right,
from
yeah,
these,
to
apart from
not give
these
spoilers.
ones,
Yeah,
are only
okay.
in 1 or 2. Now you might find that will change as episodes drop, because IMDb have started doing that now. They've started manipulating the episode count a little bit so that you're not always given all the info, but you think you are.
Right,
I've noticed that, so
Yeah.
we'll see. And they should keep doing that because it's better.
As I say, I'm hopeful for the
my
best,
recommendation is give this a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it all regardless, but I'm just, I don't know, man.
But I do have
Particularly
something
with
interesting
Alien.
to report, because I wanted to look at the user reviews, right? You know how I like to look at these. And I thought, well, let me scroll through some of these. And there was a fair number of people that went to. There was some screenings in on the big screen. They did some screenings for the first 2 episodes. Look, theatre preview, saw premiere episode in local movie theatre. It did not disappoint. Fantastic marketing move by Disney. In brackets, thanks for those free tickets to the park, buddy. Cheers. So I mean, now that's interesting. Let's have a look at Robot's profile. So he's done 3 reviews. So you could argue that that's a genuine reviewer who's got a very, very slow review rate. Okay. There's a lot of 10 out of 10s and a lot of 9 out of 10s. So I was thinking, okay, and there was a couple of low ones, but I was thinking, this is thinking like maybe a lot of people are liking this. Maybe this is going to be good, right?
A lot of people like Alien Romulus as well, though.
Well,
yeah, that's not really.
I haven't finished
doesn't
yet.
really give me hope.
Wait for the bump. So if you keep scrolling, there's a lot of it's consistently got a high rating, right? And then it's much, 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 much further down, whether they've been pushed down deliberately or by design or what. There suddenly comes this deluge of awful reviews.
Oh yeah.
Several of them have been ratioed because they've been pushed down because of spoilers. But some others are, I mean, I can't agree with this. Slow, boring, and aimless. I didn't agree with that. I was quite interested in everything I was watching. I had 0 expectations going in. I was right 1 out of 10. Again, I don't know. I don't, a show with that level, you can't give it 1 out of 10. You've got to give it 1 out of 10 for production design. If you're scoring a point for all the different things, give it another point for sound design, another point for, for costumes. The acting is pretty decent. It's probably 2 more points there. So I'm not going to score it lower than 5.
I'm exactly at 5 out of 10, and it could go either way based upon what.
Okay, that's fair.
So
if you look, there are loads of these. There's a huge deluge of these. So I do have to sort of ask. I mean, I'm sure there are some people who just wanted to hate it, and maybe this is those people. But I also think there are probably some people here that wanted to love it, didn't like it, did a bad review, and I feel like these reviews have been pushed to the bottom.
And nobody's seen more than 2 episodes yet, have they? So, I mean...
No.
It's early days.
Robert My Burnett's probably seen everything, because he normally gets to see everything somehow. But yeah, there are a lot of negative reviews. I say this all the time. Make up your own mind. Watch it, make up your own mind. But it's not bad so far. Not bad so far. All right, we're going to move on, because we've got to review really important films tonight, like 1974's Phantom Tollbooth. So
yes,
because we want Tim Burton to remake it, because he should.
Which I watched as a cleanser to Unforgivable.
Oh well, we're going to talk about that as well. We're going to talk about Unforgivable too. Yeah, that is a good film as a cleanser. I mean, if you watch them the other way round, it will probably be a lot more disturbing.
Oh Christ, no!
It's definitely it is. Trust me, because that's what I did.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry that I put you through that, but at the same time, I'm not, because I thought this film actually, it's pretty brave. Pretty brave tackling and going with the narrative that they did. I thought
I had thoughts, especially with it coming from the BBC.
Yeah. I mean, that felt a bit deliberate as well, it has to be said. It was like, okay, we better do at least 3 or 4 films that highlight this issue in the next 2 years, just to try and say to people, hey, we're not here to back up these people. All right, but before
We're not the problem.
before we feel like we need a wash, we're going to look at like fluffy dogs and animation and all of that kind of stuff. Now, one of the main reasons I wanted you guys to watch this film is, even though it's very crude animation, it's an old movie. The child actor is a little bit so-so. He's a child actor of that generation where they did that kind of acting.
Precocious.
Yeah,
I love the animation. I like that Dick Jones sort of animation. He's got a great style, a unique style.
I love it. I love it. Several people that worked for this guy ended up working for Don Bluth. So a lot of the people that ended up working for Don Bluth worked on this movie, including, I think, the people that founded the company. Anyway, I like this style of animation. I love the characters, and there's a couple of films that have got the feature-length animations from this era. There's another one called The Talking Parcel, and you can see it. It's all on YouTube. And I don't understand why this and The Talking Parcel have not been made into fully realised big-budget feature films. And this is very much kind of Dr. Seuss on acid. It's perfect for Tim Burton. Is that, he loves creating those sets with all the curls and the roads are going up into the ceiling and, this kind of thing. This is very, very much Tim Burton territory. I'm amazed that he hasn't snapped up the rights to this and made it. And also, with people doing a lot of fully CG and this kind of thing, I don't understand. And I don't think there's anything in this story that is weird or awkward now, but maybe that's just because of my fond memories of it. So, like I said, one of the reasons I wanted my panelists to watch it is so that they could give me their take on it. Did you enjoy it? Was it the first time you've seen it? And so on. I love the way that the different worlds are realized, the different characters and the different parts of this wonky place. For anybody who doesn't know, the backstory to this movie is this kid who is bored at school. He doesn't have many friends. He's called Milo. He's got a pet dog. One day this parcel comes flying in through his window, which of itself would probably be enough to give any kid PTSD. The parcel unveils itself to reveal a phantom toll booth, or basically a toll booth, with a motorized, rather cool looking red car, which suddenly spins and materializes. So he and his dog decided to get in the said car. They go through the phantom toll booth, and at that point, the film is transformed from from live action to animation. So this is the live action Milo character. Pretty sure I had that robot that he's got on that chest. And then he meets these various different sort of wonderful characters, and it's really about a child. I mean, I think the basic plot is really about how does a child find their imagination.
Mm-hmm.
In the case of this kid, it could be influenced by certain things that were going around among the adults at the time, because it does have a bit of a Yellow Submarine vibe about it, but not so much that I don't think it could be made now. But that's basically and he meets the various characters. Some are good, some are evil. This world is not quite functioning correctly, and he's sort of the catalyst to set it straight. It's got that kind of Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe vibe. And this was one of my favorite children feature-length cartoons growing up. I mean, I lived for these to come on in the holidays, these shows. And, when you'd seen it once and you didn't have a VHS recorder at the time, you were like, oh, I've got to see that again, because you wanted to understand it more. You wanted to, understand the characters. And I also really loved all the different backgrounds that they created for this world. So, yeah, I do really like it. Got really fond memories of it. Seen it again. I still like it. But I'd love to see this film get the full big budget, either a big budget live action or a big budget animation. Northern, I believe you tracked it down.
Yes, I did. It's a sail of high seas, yo ho ho for all that. But I did manage to find it. There was a few sites that just didn't have it, but thankfully I was successful. And it does seem to have, I love the abstract nature of it as well. You know, I just love the pure imagination. It's definitely got a little bit of that sort of bonkers, nonsensical Alice in Wonderland thing, but it's also done in a very sort of like smart, metaphorical way as well, which kind of represents the kid, because he's kind of in danger of becoming, you know, a procrastinator and someone who just isn't making the most of his life. He could be one of these very people who waste his life. I mean, because you got the lethargic creatures trying to drown him into keeping.
Yeah, in the doldrums.
I know. Yeah, everything. I just love those little moments. That is really clever as well. And it's like, listen, you're young. You should be appreciating life. I mean, even learning can have its benefits. And he learns that through this crazy adventure with these very wacky characters.
And his dog can talk, I think, once they've gone through once they go through the gate, his dog can talk.
Yeah, the ticking dog. You know, that's and it does feel very Dr. Seuss as well, but it kind of it does match with Chuck Jones's humor as well, because he did something. It does feel very similar to the humor from the Grinch as well. You know, just sort of like that whimsical humor, which also finds that nice little balance of mean-spiritedness as well. And you get the intense monsters as well, which kids movies should always have.
Yeah, I mean, the main villain in this is creepy looking as fuck. And I'll tell you another person who could make a great version of this film, and that's Guillermo del Toro.
I think he'd be a better choice.
That would be great.
Yeah,
can't wait for his Frankenstein.
Because the main villain in this movie, I guarantee you, he saw this as a kid, because this is the only young sort of influence where I've been able to find a faceless villain. And one of the things I always remembered about this was that character, which really creeped me out. And there is a picture of them. I'll find it. But yeah, okay. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. You enjoyed it overall, yeah, Luke?
Yeah, I was kind of wondering what was going on here, but I was like, you know, I like what they're doing here. You know, this is very, very clever stuff, and it can kind of it's one of those films that's really crazy and really wacky, but at the same time is you know, if I was a kid watching this, I would feel a lot smarter watching it.
Yeah, very good. Fantastico. Rachel, did you manage to see it?
I did. I had to sadly go the same route and put on my pirate hat, but I did manage to find it finally after an extensive search.
Here is
ridiculous
Rachel as depicted in the film. Continue.
Yeah, there we go. It's crazy how hard this is to find. It should be more widely available, but it really is a beautiful film. It's beautifully animated. Yeah, there are, you know, sometimes you do see the lines in the animation, but who cares? Who cares? It's fine. It has that beautiful Chuck Jones style that I grew up really loving. And it was like going back to the movies that would have been put on to keep me busy, you know. And I loved it. His personality forming throughout the movie and his imagination forming throughout the movie. It really made the background plates make sense as to why they're so abstract and interesting. Is because he is abstract and interesting. He's not formed yet. That's what I got out of it anyway. And just a beautiful film. I think you're right about Guillermo del Toro. He would be perfect for this. Tim Burton would be great, but Guillermo del Toro would be better. If only.
Yeah, maybe del Toro's better suited to the stylistic choices that already exist, perhaps. You can take them further, you know.
Yeah.
You'd keep the simplicity of it.
He would play with.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, Jim Henson could have done a great version of this. You know, along the lines of Labyrinth.
That would have been awesome. That would have been awesome.
That would have been amazing.
But this is a film. This is a film that, you know, there we go. There's your villain.
Yeah.
The studio could make this and people would go and see it, because there would be a generation of adults who'd be, oh God, I remember that. You know, it would suddenly, because it's a film that stays with you when you've watched it, for sure. You do remember you've seen it. And yeah, I just think it's a bit like War of the Worlds, Jeff Wayne. You know, it was an amazing double album that came out in the 70s. I pitched it to a theatre producer in 1997 that should go on tour as a live action stage tour. Oh, no one will go and see that, they said. That's one of the most successful touring shows of all time now, because those adults that bought that double album never forgot it. They might not have played it for a while, but it was there in their collection. I think this film was quite unusual at the time. It sort of sits with your childhood imagination. You kind of remember some bits of it. You don't quite remember all of it. You kind of wanted that Phantom Tollbooth to turn up in your bedroom in the same way that you wanted to go round to your grandmother's and tap on the back of that wardrobe and not find her moth-eaten, kind of night dress, but instead there was going to be a gateway to Narnia and ideally lots of Turkish delight. Unfortunately, turned out not to be the case. But did you get to see it, Alan?
I did indeed. I watched it straight after Unforgivable because I was scarred.
You can talk to us more about those scars in a second. Tell us about this.
It was the perfect salve. I loved this film. I really did. It reminded me of a time where kids' films actually meant something. It was imparting good lessons. It was educational. I didn't mind that the animation was crude in places and was actively ripping off Disney in many of its designs. That didn't bother me. I thought the content of the film was really, really good. And I think more people kids should watch this film. And I'd welcome a remake, but I think these days it just was, it would need to be dumbed down to hell.
It's amazing it hasn't had like a proper DVD release. You can get a DVD of it.
I'd literally never heard of it before you mentioned it last week. Like never, not even in passing, not even mentioned or seen it in a screenshot or I had no idea it existed. And it is a real gem. It really is. It's got such a great idea behind it as well. A war between numbers and letters. I was just like, that's great.
Yeah, I love that. I love that sort of the conflict between the two kingdoms and why one thinks it's more superior than the other. This character is really interesting as well, which he looks very much like the 12-sided dice from Dungeons and Dragons. And essentially kind of is that, but is a character and has different states of emotion.
I mean, it's a bit twee by today's standards, I suppose. It's 55 years old, so fair enough.
Yeah, and I mean the ending is kind of a bit cheap, and it's sort of let's reverse a whole load of scenes that we've done earlier to show the conflict is diminishing. There's some stuff like that, but I mean, this is the sort of stuff where producers are out there. Studio execs are out there. Oh, what can we remake now? Well, I mean, how about finding some of these gems? You've got this, you've got the Talking Parcel, you've got some others, and you don't even need to go 200 mil. You could give this to the right director. They could make it for 20-30 million.
Yep.
And be really inventive with it, and it could be really interesting. And
I mean, it's just got so much value to it. I think. I mean, if I had a kid. I don't, thankfully. I'm not meant to breed. Nobody wants
you have about 58 eight-legged kids, though. So.
Exactly. I've got my my horde next to me. But if I had a kid, I would show them this film because I just think it's a formative film that teaches kids about responsibility. It teaches kids about using your imagination, the importance of thinking. The whole doldrums bit and everything like that. If you don't think, you get stuck in the doldrums. It's great. Brilliant stuff. I loved this film, Lance. I really did.
Well, it's funny because I had a feeling you were all going to say that. I just thought, there's no one on my panel that's not going to like this movie because they've all got a little bit of a soft spot for something that's good. And they'll be able to see it. They'll be able to see the quality here because, crude animation, it is 55 years old, but it's a fucking great story. So...
It kind of felt like a Wizard of Oz with a little boy in it, almost.
Yeah, or Alice in Wonderland, but with a little boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Effectively. Okay, well, very good. Ratings out of 10. I mean, the animation is of its time, so I've got to give it 8 out of 10, but I'd give the story 9. But it's an 8 out of 10. You should try and track this down and watch it. If you are someone of influence in Hollywood, well, lean on the right people, get them to snap up the rights. There have been more stage productions of this than they have of kids' schools, kids' colleges, and stuff like that, than they have of things like Aladdin and other classic sort of fairy tales, because Disney would always be like, no, you can't do that because we've made a film about that. That's ours now. You know, there's a lot of shit like that went on for a while. But there's, go on YouTube, type in the Phantom Tollbooth stage productions. Dozens of them will come up, and it's actually quite interesting to see the concepts and the way they start the show. I've being a a playwright and a stage director, about to do my 16th show. It's very interesting to see how these various college productions have tried to put this on stage, and some of them are quite interesting, some of them are quite clever, and some talented young actors out there taking part. Rating Northern. I'm sleeping.
He's muted.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I'd give it a good 9 out of 10. I mean, it's not perfect, sometimes the animation can be a little bit weird, but it does add to the charm, though. I think what Alan said about it being a bit twee, I think that's what adds to the charm of this movie, is the kid actor, the best actor. No, but he's still likable, and he's got that wide-eyed innocence to still make you care for him and, find him endearing. So, 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, 9 out of 10. Nice. Rachel, what would you give it out of 10?
I agree with 9 out of 10. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. The flaws in the animation, it doesn't bother me. That just adds to the movie. It really does.
To the charm,
it adds to that. Yeah, it adds to the dreamlike, imaginary land quality, and that's what you want. You don't want animation that's perfection and just feels like a computer spat it out at you. You want to know that somebody drew this. That's what I love about it.
Very good. I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that assessment. And last but by no means least, Alan, your rating?
9 out of 10. Accounting for, the fact that it is 55 years old, and therefore the story, the characters are just all of that time. But I love the educational factor to this. I love the fact that it was a positive message for kids. So 9 out of 10, absolutely.
Hey, Box Office Brawlers in the chat. Brawler, if you haven't seen The Phantom Tollbooth, which is a 1974 animation that we're talking about now, it's a kids film. Got a bit of a Dr. Seuss meets Alice in Wonderland vibe. Check it out. It's a great little film. It's very hard to track down, but we're talking about it right now. This is a good actual shot of our 4 panelists, actually. On the
now I'm wondering who's who.
I'm the third one from the left with the blue long legs. So obviously ours is the kind of like fly-like thing with the big proboscis.
Take it.
And Northerners the dog, and Rachel has been gender swapped to the lead character there. Had a haircut.
Very progressive.
That's right, yeah. So, but yeah, it's good. That could have actually been our 4 avatars for tonight, couldn't it? And here's Toxic in a cameo. So, good to see you, Brawler. Don't forget, dude, you're always welcome to pop on, mate. I'm doing a special on Aliens Earth tomorrow after open bar, so we'll be getting it on. Darth played over $2 says, I think I saw Critic Owl on the Alien Earth ship. You did. He was that squid thing with all the eyeballs. that is an actual representation. So very good. Fantastic. Anybody want to say anything else about this before we move on?
No, just watch it. Seriously, track it down and watch it, because it's great. There's so many cool ideas, and it really is.
Oh, this character was absolutely batshit balmy.
Oh, the noise.
Yeah, just noise.
Yeah, he sort of reminded me of my granddad. But yeah, he was really funny. Fantastic. All right, we shall move on. I've seen some other stuff, so let's talk about some other stuff. We'll quickly talk about BBC Jimmy McGovern drama. For those people that don't know, Jimmy McGovern is a top-end writer. I've met him many times, and he is definitely one of the key people who is responsible for my writing career going in the direction it did, which was to tackle kind of areas of social injustice, because my first play was about the Hillsborough football disaster, which always makes me really popular when I say that to history bro. And that play also won me my first award, and I was entirely inspired to write that by Jimmy McGovern's television movie, which came out in, I think it was 96 or 97, on the same subject. And, you know, for better or worse, that kind of led me down a certain path, and a lot of my work sort of was in a similar bubble for quite a long time. So we now have Unforgivable, which is, it's got a top quality cast in. Anna Friel, David Threefall, seen there with Northern's Future to Be Ponytail, Anna Maxwell Martin at the back on the left there, and Austin Haynes down the front. And this is the story of two families who are related. The older son of one of the families, the family is a single mother. That son attempts, I will say attempts because that's kind of what happens, attempts to sexually abuse his nephew. The nephew is seen in the blue shirt on the right in this scene. And the abuse doesn't actually take place because the nephew, who he thought was going to reciprocate, freaks out. The father interrupts them, beats the shit out of him. He gets arrested, and I think he does about 2 years for attempted assault. And that all happens in the first, we know about that all in the first 10 minutes. So extremely difficult topic, extremely not a comfortable topic to talk about, not an easy topic to explore in a drama narrative. This is loosely based on a true story. And I'd love to speak to Jimmy and say, well, you know, God, why did you try and do that? I wouldn't touch that subject with a 10-foot pole. But that's exactly probably why he decided to take it on. He thought, I want to write about something no one else is writing about, you know. And he tells the narrative from multiple viewpoints, including the abuser. And we find out that the abuser was abused himself by his football coach on a couple of different occasions, and this person is still in his life, and he's never confronted him about it. That character is played by actor Mark Womack, who's a friend of mine, actually a really good actor, and was a really good friend to me in a very difficult time in my life. So shout out to him as well. Really nice guy, came to see my play about Hillsborough, was very supportive of that. It was really interesting to see him play such a different part, as well as a, you know, potential pedophile. I don't want to spoil too much and say whether that turned out to be true or not. So the story is a little bit compartmentalized. It doesn't really give you a proper ending. You get a sort of ending. It sort of goes through to a second court case about a different event, and naturally all these different characters collide. The main character's mother has just died just before he got out of prison. He's not allowed by the rest of the family to attend the funeral, and there are all these different types of conflicts and things that sort of need to be resolved. You know, the abuse victim is very damaged. He doesn't get on with other kids. The school's trying to put him into a specialist school. The mother wants him to have as normal childhood as possible. These are all very difficult topics. These are all very difficult questions to answer. So kudos to Jimmy McGovern for doing this show. Now, he normally does stuff for ITV, and I'm going to bet money that he took this as a project to ITV, and ITV went, oh, child abuse. Oh, Jimmy, I don't know. It's, you know, we're a bit more commercial. You know, you want to take that to the BBC. That's their specialty. That's their got plenty of experience in that arena. So I suspect it went to the BBC, and I think probably someone at the BBC said, you know what, we probably should be making this kind of stuff because we've got a bit of making up to do after fucking covering up for Jimmy Savile for so long. I mean, not the people that are there now, but clearly there are people that covered for him. So I think that's why it got commissioned. I'm glad it got commissioned. It's not an easy watch. I don't want to watch it again. A hard show to recommend because it's like, do you want to see a film about this particular topic? Answer is probably no. do you want to see a drama with some absolutely first-class acting and really good writing? Answer's probably yes. So then if you can overlook what the topic is and just, okay, I kind of want to watch this for the really good writing and the really good acting, you can appreciate it's really good. It is going to make you feel very uncomfortable. That's probably the goal. So fair play. So Alan, you had to have a 2-hour shower after watching this. I'll let you dive in.
Yeah, this is basically misery porn. Not only do you get the sexual abuse thing, but every other character in this has something horrific going on. Somebody's got cancer, somebody's cheating on somebody else. It was just a horrible watch, I have to be honest. It is well written. It is exceptionally well acted.
Yeah, especially the younger actors are really good.
Oh yeah, I mean,
these two kids were, they didn't have a lot of lines, but they really conveyed a lot with very little, and credit to them. Brilliant.
But I mean, this is brutal watching. It really is. It's relentlessly bleak. There is just not one moment of anything approaching, levity or happiness or anything at any stage, which you would say, given the subject material, that's fair enough. But I mean, full warnings, I had to go and watch Phantom Tollbooth immediately after watching this because it was tough.
Good that you did, because you loved it. So
I did, proper cheer.
I'm glad I'm glad. I knew you probably wouldn't watch it. I thought I've got to send him something really nasty to incentivize him to watch this old 1974 animated film he's never heard of. I know this will do it.
But I just found it a bit over the top. I really did. I was like, okay, you're already dealing with something that's pretty damn, touchy, and you're trying to get us not necessarily to feel sorry for the abuser, but you're putting this thing on top, and then on top of that,
I think what more misery. Is there were a lot of none of the other people were without their imperfections. Obviously, his imperfection was massive compared to theirs.
Yes, and I mean, I appreciate what it was trying to do.
Yeah,
but this is something that I will never, ever, ever, ever watch again. I have no need to whatsoever.
Rachel,
and even the ending is just like, more misery. Yeah.
Well, there was a glimmer of hope. There's a glimmer of hope in the last minute, kind of.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, let's go for
glimmer of hope
kind of
for
thing,
one narrative. Rachel, what's your take?
I have to agree that I will never watch this again. I finished it 30 minutes before we came on air. So it's very fresh.
You're still in trauma. You're still in the trauma phase.
Yeah, I'm still suffering. And it's true. Nobody in this has a second of happiness for the entire runtime of the movie, except for the last 30 seconds. I thought up until that last 30 seconds, the entire movie was just going to be misery. Like, no one is going to have a resolution. It's not going to have any satisfying ending because of what happens, and I'm not going to say what happens. Just that I thought I was going to come on here and be talking about another show by the BBC that doesn't have an actual resolution at the end of it. Because I knew they were going to cut before we actually got where we were going. I was looking at the time like, okay, we've got 2 minutes left. Are we going to resolve the story at all? But they did, and they did wrap it up well, and it's a realistic ending if you think about it.
I mean, that is true.
Because this is what happens for a lot of people. You never get the justice that you deserve. And that was the hard part watching it. That really hit me because you don't. You just have to live with it. And for a lot of people, there is no light at the end of the tunnel. And at least he got a glimmer. He gets a glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel. One person believes him. No one else is going to believe this kid. And it was really brave of them to take his side of it and be like, oh, he's a victim too. I wouldn't personally have done that. I don't think I would have done that. It's just too hard to write it that way. to have any sympathy for him after a certain point was really hard. And then it's like, oh, he knows what it's like. He's traumatized too. It was really well written, but there was one storyline I would have cut. I would have really cut out one thing. It didn't need to be there. And that was, I don't think this is too much of a spoiler. The father is not as good a person as we thought he was.
No.
Agreed.
That didn't need to be there. That undercut the family.
That storyline didn't really, I mean, if that had more, if, for example, like the girlfriend, sorry, spoiler alert. Oh, yeah, I did it the other way around again. If the girlfriend had then maybe become a sympathetic character who tried to reconnect with the son before the father did, which caused further conflict, that would have been really interesting. And she would have felt like she had more of a function. But as it stood, she was really there to prove that the father was also deeply flawed.
Yeah, and they didn't even say, well, was this...
Sorry, Rachel, Karen.
Oh, that's okay. They didn't even say if this was a thing that had been going on for decades or if it just happened after the son was caught and went to prison. Now, if that had happened...
I think there was a line that said it had been going on for 14 months, actually. I think he says it to somebody. I've been seeing her for... he either said I've been seeing her for 14 months or a year and a half. It comes out at some point. Yeah.
It just seems like that was breezed over because that storyline is breezed over. It happens and then it's gone. Like, oh, well, we'll just have one more thing to deal with. Like, you're still here in our lives. I'm not mad at you at all for what you did to my mother.
I'm willing to bet there were probably more scenes with that storyline. It didn't feel...
I hope that there were.
Yeah, Jimmy McGovern is not one for underwriting characters, nor is he one for inserting characters where they don't really have more than a sort of perfunctory purpose. Normally everyone's got a pretty solid reason for being there and they're normally going to add something to the storyline. I'd be very surprised if she didn't have at least 2 scenes that were cut.
Yeah, it felt that way. Like they were cut for time, and that's a shame.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
There were some very strange writing decisions as well, like the part where he bumps into the mother and then she immediately phones him on his mobile phone. How? He's been in prison for 2 years. How has he still got a contract? How does she know his number? That was one thing that just stood out to me. And I was like, what? Which was weird because the rest of the writing is very, very good. But there was just a couple of moments like that and a couple of moments of dialogue that seemed really out of place. So maybe you're right. Maybe there are scenes that are cut that explain these things.
Yeah, that scene was a big jar for me as well. I agree.
Otherwise, the writing is so tight that those things stand out more and kind of pull you out of it a little bit. It's like there has to be an explanation here, and somebody pulled that scene, or did I miss it? Well, I'm not going to go back and watch that trauma dump to find out. I'm not. I can't do it. That was too much.
I did also think that the repeated descriptions of the exact act were a little bit over the top. I was like, I really don't need to hear this for the 3rd time. I really don't, please. But yeah, as I say, for me, it was just mystery porn, but I'll shut up now.
You got a bit more of it each time, though.
Yeah, I guess.
It was more graphic each time
an unfolding narrative. You got a bit and it was like, ooh. And then it was like, he had a meeting with somebody else and it was like, oh.
Yeah. I can't say for 1 second that I don't think it has the right to be as shocking and as dark as it does, because R absolutely must have that right. It must be able to affect you in very visceral ways. But man, this literally made me feel sort of dirty and sad and just, it was horrible. It really was.
Well, for all that it made me feel, I have to give it a 9 out of 10 because top quality acting, mostly good writing, well produced, some phenomenal young talent, especially, and also I have to say that it's good that shows like these about these difficult topics are being made. It's you don't get a lot. It's not that I want to see loads of stuff on this topic. I don't. but I think it's good it's being tackled. You know, because there's a lot of us out there that have been through something like this at some point or another, and most guys don't talk about it. You know, because it's too traumatic for us to do that, so we don't say anything. But anyway, so yeah, it's good that there are writers like Jimmy McGovern who are not afraid to put their balls on the table and say, okay, I'm going to have a go at this. You know, feel free to try and lop them off. But there we are. So Darth Plato says, reminds me of the child abuse episode from The Shield season 1. Just because the content is hard doesn't mean it's not well made. Agreed. It's definitely got that vein for sure. Yeah,
that was a difficult episode, but a good one nonetheless.
Yeah, good cop and bad cop have left for the day. I'm a different kind of cop. One of the best lines ever. Okay, we're gonna fortunately for Alan, we're gonna move on. Okay. So fantastic. Those are almost all of the topics I personally had scheduled. Does anyone on my panel have a recommendation that they would like to make of something they've seen?
Well, just because the trailer was playing there, the trailer for Ludwig was playing.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really good show. That's a very good show. And you can't really talk about it without giving away what happens. But I highly recommend it, especially if you like puzzles. It's a very good show.
Yeah, this is the one with David Mitchell. You've also got Anna Maxwell Martin in it again, who is popping up in absolutely everything these days. She's a great actress. I do like her. Yeah, I have. I've not seen it. I've seen the trailer. It's kind of a murder mystery thing, isn't that the case?
Yeah, he's a genius, but he's also a hermit. He's an isolationist, much like myself. So I understand him more than I should probably. But his brother goes missing, and since they're twins, he takes his place as a detective because he's trying to find out what happened to his brother, and he thinks the solution is in the police department. So he takes his place as a detective, and he ends up solving all these crimes along the way, as you would for a procedural. But yeah, it's great. Really great series. Really creative how they solve the main mystery. It's really creative.
How many episodes is it for the first season?
I think it's 10, if I remember correctly. I watched it a couple months ago on BritBox. I think it's 10 episodes, like most things now.
Yeah, solid recommendation from Rachel there. Oh, good stuff. What would you give it out of 10?
Oh, I would give it an 8 out of 10. It's a very good mystery series. And I've watched some real stinkers on BritBox lately. So, yeah, it's definitely one of their better ones.
All right. Anyone else seen it?
No, not seen this.
No,
I do quite like David Mitchell, so I imagine it's quite good.
Damn, I thought I could finish my Fab Ice Lolly and someone would rattle on for another 5 minutes, but no such luck.
Afraid not. I do have a recommendation if that will allow you to finish your ice lolly.
It will. Go for it, sir. What have you got?
Splendid. It's actually the film that was covering just a minute ago on Blues Channel. Well, a couple of hours ago. And it is Shin Godzilla, which has just been re-released in 4K.
Yeah, that's a good one, that.
And it's a really, really good Godzilla movie. And
so hang on, the whole film is just called Splendid?
What? Shin Godzilla.
I thought you just said, I'm going to recommend this film, Splendid. But you were saying, oh, Splendid, I've got time to talk about a film.
Yes.
The film is Shin Godzilla. Not
the film is called Shin Godzilla.
His selective hearing kicked in.
I've just been typing in Splendid, like, okay, which Splendid film is he talking about? Quite a few. How do I spell Chin's Godzilla or whatever the first word is?
It's SHIN space Godzilla. It is a Godzilla film that is made by the gentleman named Hideaki Anno, who made the anime series Neon Genesis Evangelion, and it's his attempt to do a Godzilla film. It also features one of my favorite composers, my favorite Japanese composer, Shiro Sugusu. And it's just a great little Godzilla movie, different to everything we've had before. Has a lot of cool ideas, does a lot of stuff. I think it's got a theatrical release in America. I don't know about over here. But yeah, it's really, really good. Godzilla kind of evolves throughout the movie. So the first stage is almost like a salamander tadpole type thing, and then he comes back and he's like the bigger Godzilla. But it's very good. It deals with a lot of different things.
Isn't this the one that starts with him in the bay?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen this. This is it. I really like this movie. I thought this was great. I saw this at the cinema.
Yeah, and as I say, it's just been. I think it's the anniversary, so it's just been redone.
Right.
And yeah, it's really good. It's got a lot going on. It deals with a lot of different things and a lot of different issues. There's some subtext there as well if you look for it. And I really enjoyed it.
I did like this version of Godzilla. I thought it was great. It was, it feels very much like the Godzillas I watched as a kid.
Yes, yeah,
with
it's definitely aiming back to that
costumes.
kind of vibe. Yeah. And obviously, this was done in the wake of the tsunami, so it's also partially a commentary on the Japanese government's response to the Fukushima
or lack thereof. Yeah,
exactly.
There is a really good drama about the Fukushima event. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
No, I've not seen that.
Yeah, that's worth seeing. I can't remember the title of it now, but that was.
He's
like
going to traumatize us again.
Yeah, I think
like
it was on
Godzilla.
Thanks for giving me homework ideas for you, but no.
It had a budget of like 10 million as well, and it's really impressive for what they've managed to do. You imagine like what Hollywood could do with it.
A clever filmmaker, doesn't need to spend 200 million. You know why? Because they're not paying the producers 50, and they're not paying the rest of the cast 50, and that's half of their budget gone. That's
exactly.
Why.
Yeah,
everyone's on sensible money.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I do think that -1 might be a better film in many ways because of what it deals with. It deals with very human things like redemption and shame, Japanese honor, and obviously it's set in the wake of the actual disaster itself, the bomb. But that doesn't make Shin Godzilla a bad film by any means at all. There's a lot going on there. It's a very different type of Godzilla. He's in pain. He's in terrible suffering because of how he was created. And again, you have to look at the subtext for that.
Okay,
it's a very worthy film.
It's not a bowel obstruction.
No, it's not. Okay. He hasn't got kidney stones. No.
Excellent. Yes, I do remember. Blue Collar Losers in the chat. Hey, bud, how's it going? So good to see you. Northern, I know you've got to shoot off soon. We haven't got long left, but you've got a test tomorrow morning. Now, that's mate. You've got a test. I've got test results tomorrow.
Yeah, mine's my driving theory test. I need to pass that so I can get a proper practical test.
Oh, I thought you meant you got a medical test. Sorry. Okay.
Not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge. Yeah,
no, I have. I'm getting my test results on this lingering cough that I've had forever. So
yeah, no, but you sound a lot better though than earlier this year.
No, I am, and I'm not getting out of breath or anything. I do have fatigue and stuff like that. So we'll see. It would be good to know what's going on. If they come back and say all is well, because I've got these nodules on my lungs, which might be something, they might be nothing. It's all. We don't think it's cancer was the last vibe I got, but that's not saying it's not. So I'd rather they come back and say it's not cancer. That would be good.
Yeah, it could be infections. Who knows? My dad used to get them a lot. There was
could be northernitis. You can only travel so far up north if you're a southerner. All kinds of things, all kind of shit goes wrong. So we shall see. That's right. The Fukushima disaster series was called The Days. Yeah. Thank you. I did talk about it. I talked about it on the Nielsen ratings when I watched it. It was called The Days. I think it was 6 1-hour episodes, if I remember rightly.
That was incredible. All the old men going into Fukushima to deal with the reactor because, obviously.
They were. Yeah, there were some pretty brave. It was very, very along the lines of the Russians that did the same thing with
Chernobyl.
Chernobyl. Yeah, there was a lot of that going on with it. So brave stuff. Northern, if you do need to depart, sir, I'll let you go.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for having me on, and I'll try and see if I can
cool.
jump on next week if possible. But if not, I'll let you know when I can. So
Good luck for tomorrow, mate.
I know, man. I know. So yeah,
you never know. Yeah, good luck for tomorrow. You never know. We may do these on a Wednesday occasionally if it works out better for people.
Yeah, and I'll see you later, Rachel, and thanks you, Lance. I will talk to you all later.
Okay, mate. Look forward to meeting you in person finally at the play when you're now down.
It should be a good
Yeah,
night.
me and Northern have got it all sorted out. Both come down the 19th.
Yeah,
Hit in the pub
exactly.
beforehand,
Don't
and then
forget to meet Rachel. Meet Rachel at the airport. Don't forget. Okay. All right. Good. Northern Isles. Yeah. Thanks, bud, for coming. So yeah, and then there were 3. Rachel, did you have a recommendation this week? Because I'm giving you a chance to. Well, you did mention one, but have you got another one?
I do have a movie that was completely overlooked when it came out. It had a budget of, I believe, $15 million, and it made $700,000.
Ooh, that's a
completely
shame. What was it?
overlooked. It's called Passion of Mind, which the title is a bit wonky, but don't let that stop you.
it sounds like something.
It's about a
translated from Chinese to English.
Not the one with Demi Moore.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Okay,
I
that
saw
came
something in YouTube.
Came out in the year 2000. I thought you were talking about something that came about like a year ago. Okay, I vaguely remember this.
Yeah.
Vaguely remember this.
I had never heard of it before, and I ran into it a couple weeks ago. It was for free on YouTube, and I was like, why not? It doesn't look like it's going to be a heavy movie at all, and I was wrong, as I often am.
It was so vivid. It seemed real.
Oh my goodness.
Loads of them.
God, that poster, man. Oof. Photoshopped.
Very 2000s,
the poster does look very 80s Hallmark or 90s Hallmark, you know.
Very late 90s, early 2000s.
Listen, you've got William Fichtner in there. He's one of my favorite actors, so love the Fichtner, you know. It's really good.
And it's about a woman that is going through a psychological episode, and she doesn't know what reality is reality because she's going through her own inability to process trauma from her past. And you have to go through her learning who she can really trust and love and care about. And when you get to the end, the things that you may see as problems in the very beginning, they make perfect sense at the end. I will say there's only one scene that I have a problem with the acting, and it's all Demi Moore, but it's just one scene. Everything else I thought was really well done, and I don't understand why nobody watched it. I would have watched it if I'd known it existed, but it really does seem like it was completely overlooked. Yes, Stellan Skarsgård is in this.
He's a great actor.
Fantastic performance from him. And honestly, everybody.
William
except for her.
Fichtner, Bill Fichtner. Okay, nice.
I mean, is she bad all the way through, or is she just bad in one scene?
It's really just that one scene where she comes off as she wasn't really into that moment and probably should have had another take for that scene.
Right.
That's it. Just one more take probably would have cleared it up. But
good Lord,
you know,
she received nomination for the Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Actress for this film.
And here I am saying that it's worth a watch, but it is. It is.
Maybe it was all based on that one scene.
It could very well have been.
We need a second opinion, so we're going to go to the voices of IMDb to see what they had to say about this film. Standard Demi Fare, 5 out of 10. A Double Life in Your Mind, 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10, a romantic psycho love story that could have gone much further. Truly original drama, 3 stars. So good that I haven't been able to give it a rating out of 10. Torturous plane ride, 1 out of 10. Misguided representation of interesting psychodrama. Humdrum, pseudo-psychoanalytic hoo-ha. This movie defines the word confused. All of the actors stay true to the script. More's the pity, because the acting is fine. but the script is a confused pastiche of pseudo-psychoanalytic random ideas. Did I say that in the title of this review? I think I did. Okay, yeah, very good.
It's very much
magic realism romance. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's either you love it or you hate it. It really
pretty
is like
Hallmark.
that.
I bet Enzo would love this film.
Yeah, he probably would.
Enzo would be with me on this.
I better
I need
message him now.
Enzo.
So, dude, you're missing out. We're talking Demi Moore's greatest hits here.
Come in here. Rachel's floundering, trying to recommend this probably actually terrible movie that nobody else will like.
Yeah.
Again. Maybe I view it through rose-colored glasses because it's one of the only times that William Fichtner is given a romantic role.
Yeah, he doesn't get to do that very often. He gets to talk about his wife and kids briefly in Armageddon, but that's about it.
Yeah, and it's like, why? Yeah, I'm looking at it just on his side of the story. Like, why was this man not allowed to do more films like this, where he was a lead? He can do it. Why? But
he's got a beard in it as well. Oh my god!
Yeah.
I've
well,
never seen
kind
William
of a
Fichtner
beard.
with a beard before.
When he has a beard, he either looks like a scruffy cat or he looks really good with one. It's one or the other.
Blue Collar Loser is really feeling now that he should have been on this show to discuss the inner workings of Dream of the Mind. Sorry, I got it wrong. Passion of the Mind.
No, it doesn't even get a the. It's just Passion of Mind.
That's because I was in the parallel universe of my own dream, and in my dream, it's called Dream of the Mind in my parallel universe. See, so I had to come out of that universe first and then get the title correct. That's my
would have been a better title.
I like the way she gets into that bedroom. Let's look at that. Let's look at that getting into bed action again. There, I just need to point out a couple of things here. So she lives in San Francisco, pretty hot city most of the year round. She's getting into bed with full pajamas and socks, white socks, very important. And that's there's a blanket there, there's a duvet, you've got some pretty heavy cushions there. That's a night of sweatiness right there. So surprised she didn't have a cardiac arrest.
It's New York, not San Francisco, but
well, she's dreaming about New York, but hang on a minute. Whoa. I objection, Your Honor. We have to go back and look at this again. I'm sure that first landmark that you see on the trailer, is that not San Francisco? So, I mean, I know you've watched the film, but don't let that make you a position of authority. Isn't that San Francisco? That hill place?
She's living two lives, and one of them is in France. So that's her.
Fuck me. Okay, all right.
San Francisco, France.
This is
either way.
They've both got Fran in them.
This is a second unit helicopter shot of the French town. Okay, one of the towns built on the hill. Yeah, all right. I thought this was that hill in San Francisco that's got the big fire hose thing stuck on the top of it.
That'd be some really different architecture for San Francisco.
Yeah, for some reason it looked like a church, and there was a lot of French building. Maybe this was the other side of it. I don't know. Anyway, I only saw it for a second.
Leon.
This is okay. So hang on. This is a French bedroom. I've got to re-examine again. So this is the French bedroom. We can tell
the important part.
Because there is a painting with gold gilded edges here. Got a couple of very European framed things here. I'm not sure what's going on with this lampshade, but obviously that's in Hollywood's mind. That's a very French lampshade. Or vaguely European. Obviously, all French beds have makeup lights above them. That's a very important French bedroom detail. Possibly. Not too sure about that. Okay, now she's dreaming she's in New York and the Twin Towers are still standing. So there you go. Looks like Signal Hill, says Darth Plato. Yeah, could be. San Fran has a replica of the Arc de Triomphe. See. Anyway, okay. All right, good. Well, we're going to wrap it up there. It's 10 to 12. Got a hospital appointment early tomorrow, so need to head off to bed ski. Rachel, is there anything you want to shout out before we go?
No, I don't have anything coming up except tomorrow when I get to tear the series apart. Maybe.
Oh,
We'll
we're
see.
talking about so we are. So people watching, of course, it's been saying this on the scrolling blurb. Oh, I did want to mention War Chief. I have watched another episode. Damn, I've got to say, this is one of the best things on TV in a long time. Did you guys make the time? Did you watch it?
No, it's on the list. I think I'm going to wait for it to be completely released, and then I'll check it all out. But I will definitely watch it.
One of the episodes that I watched didn't have any subtitles, and I was like, "Oh shit! What do I do?" The answer was you watch. Yeah, that was my answer. Okay, let's go for it.
Learn Hawaiian.
Like, there's a lot of us.
Yeah. Are you even trying, Lance? Are you even trying? If you aren't going to learn Samoan for this.
Yeah, listen. I now feel I'm very educated in the Samoan dialect. Can't pronounce it, but I have to say credit to this movie. I really think it's good. This TV show, sorry, I really do think it's good. If you're not watching Chief of War, you absolutely are missing out. My panelists will be back tomorrow night. We'll be probably slightly later, around kind of 11 o'clock or so UK time, just after Open Bar finishes, to discuss Alien Earth.
Yep. Be watching the second episode, so hopefully I can form a little bit more of an opinion.
Yeah, I'm planning on watching a bit more before I go to bed. So we're going to wrap that up now. So I make sure I have seen everything, because I've got a lot to do tomorrow. But thanks everyone for watching. Thank you for the people in the chat. We had a couple of new people in the chat. Darth has a mixed opinion. He's not into those hats. I knew those hats would put him off. But if you have been tuning in for the first time, very grateful to you. Do come back. We'll probably be back on Tuesdays next week. Until then, don't forget to tell the people that you care about that you love them. And I'll speak to you again real soon.